Hey guys, it's Nolan. Hope you're doing really well. Those of you who saw my last video know that I'm suffering from a little bit of what we call man flu, a little bit of a cold at the moment, but it's not going to stop me from recording you guys a video and just to show you what charts we are looking at and what potentially could be happening. Before I go any further, you should be aware, but if you're not, don't worry, that tomorrow, Friday the 1st of April, is non-farm payroll. So just be aware of that. Always a interesting news event, shall we say, which can cause or has the potential to cause quite a lot of volatility in the market. So just be aware of that. That's from the US tomorrow. Right, so let me just start off with NZDCAD, because I might have talked about this in the last video, but I certainly talked about it last week, and it's one where we've actually sold this market already. Actually, I think I think we sold it on Monday for the end of day traders. We're looking for this channel to play out and looking for price to push and potentially form a new low within this channel. Now, we took this as an end of day trade, and we're about 22 pips, 22.8 pips offside at the moment, because price actually started to retrace when we sold. Not a problem though. We've got our stop loss, or we did have our stop loss above this high here. As you can see, we've got a high, a lower high. So stop loss above here, out the way, above structure, and now we've started to see price. If I just show you, yeah, we actually pulled back and retested this level at about 87.20, and you can see from today's candle we've actually forming an evening star pattern, so a nice rejection of this zone. We've actually moved our stop loss to above this level now, so really reducing the risk almost by half. So where someone would have been risking 1% on the trade, you know, they're potentially risking about 0.5% now. So gonna just leave that and look for that to have a push down. And actually, we sent out an intraday trade on this today. Well, Mark did, based on the 15-minute time frame. We'd come into that level, broken the 15-minute trend line, and we sent out a sell limit. I think, let me just double check where the sell limit was. Sell limit was at 86.95. Yeah, just double check that. 86.95. Yep. Price came into 86.97 on here anyway. And yeah, so literally a fantastic entry, and that was sent out by Mark earlier. So brilliant. We've actually hit target 1 on this, which was 86.60, which was about here, somewhere around here. So that was the first target, 86.60. Let me just put that on here. Yeah, so we're talking roughly about 1%. So brilliant. But because this is an intraday trade, we're getting on a much smaller time frame. We've actually got a potential of 8 to 1. So keep your eyes on this, guys. In fact, what I would say is if you're an intraday trader, we've already taken this. Well, our end of day traders have, but with this evening star pattern here, there could be a potential for you to have a look at a sell stop underneath today's daily candle, with the stop above here, above these highs, and have that trade. Have a little look at that, see what you think. But you know, we've come into a nice level here, rejected it, and at the moment that's looking like an engulfing seller candle. Well, it is at the moment, but it's got to close yet. But yeah, that looks pretty good to me. So if you're interested in getting involved with NZDCAD, that's something you can have a little look at. Aussie NZD. So this is rejecting a weekly, monthly trend line. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be our 6th. This goes back to August 2015. That's how well respected this is. I'm not too sure whether Mark covered it in his video yesterday, but I just want to show you what I'm seeing today. And that is this little resistance level here. So this potentially is our first impulse down off the major trend line, which has been, like I say, been there since, respected since 2015. So this potentially is our first impulse down, and this is a correction. Now we've got resistance here, resistance. We actually closed above earlier. If we can close below there, 4-hour close below this zone here, below this resistance, then I think this was a false break to the upside, and we could be starting to see another move down in line with the bigger trend. Alternatively, you could look for a bearish close below this candle here, forming a nice reversal pattern. So we could actually, like I say, this was resistance. We could actually bounce here and have more of a correction. But equally, if we can close below it, then that could be a sign that this was just a small correction and we're going to see further downside. Alternatively, what you could do is potentially put a sell stop underneath this candle here. Take into account the spread as well, because the spread can be about 4 or 5 pips on this, on some brokers. And you could look for a trade something like this. Into this zone here, around about 106.65, somewhere around there. Some nice tips of wicks here. So that could be your final target. That's about a 3.6 to 1. What I'm going to look for, though, I'm just going to look for that bearish close below this resistance level, and then look to get involved. I'm not going to put that that sell stop there. I'm going to be looking at a definite close. Okay, price and sellers really coming in and being committed and closing below that resistance level. That to me will be a great sign of sellers coming in. So you got a couple of options there. You could set your alert as well. That's another thing. If you want to see if price breaks and closes below this candle here, you can do that. But this looks pretty good at the moment. Just a little bit of patience needed. But for me, I just wanted to see if that bounce off a fib level, coming to the 38.2. Okay. A retracement to a 38.2% level and then another move down means it's a very strong trade. Now we don't know if this is the full correction and it's ended and we're going to see the next impulse, but if it is, then a very short correction like that means it's a strong impulse. So it means that we should expect another decent move from the sellers for this pair. We will see though. We could still bounce off this level, have another move up, maybe come to the 50% retracement, maybe even come to the 61.8. We don't know. But for me, I'll be looking to see how this candle closes. And preferably, I'd like to see a candle close below this candle here. That would be a sure sign for me to look for sell opportunities. CAD Swiss, keep your eyes on CAD Swiss. Weekly range in play here. Of course, we've still got a day left on the weekly candles, but the weekly on the weekly chart, I should say. But this weekly candle at the moment looks very nice, doesn't it? For downside, trading back into the bottom of the range. Excuse me, guys. So keep your eyes on this one. I'm not really seeing any opportunities at the moment, but there's a little bit of support here. You can almost go, you can see this tip of the wick here. The lowest close, in fact, that's what I'm going to do actually. The lowest close. Let's just go on the daily. So yeah, we've got lowest close there, wicks down, wicks down. At the moment, we could be closing below that level. We've still got a couple of hours to go. But what I'm also thinking is that we could see price retrace a little bit. You know, it is a bit of a messy chart, really, as you can see from this price action here. Didn't just come into the zone and drop. Here it did to some respects, but it took a few days and it wasn't exactly, you know, straightforward price action. But we could actually, this was our first move down, we could actually retrace some and then start to move again. So have a little think about this. And, you know, and if it doesn't trigger, then, you know, nothing lost, nothing, you know, nothing gained, nothing lost. But I'm thinking maybe if we can get price to come back into this zone here for whatever reason, it might be worth having a little sell limit there. And you can have your stops above this candle high here, or if you want to anticipate that this is the top of the move, then stops above that high there. And then, you know, you're looking at trading back into that bottom of the range. Sorry guys, I got that totally wrong. That's the buy order. So we're talking something like this. So if that was to trigger, sell limit, stops above this high, potential for a 7% trade, should put it that way. If we put the stops above that high there, you know, it's about a 5.6% trade. And like I say, if this doesn't trigger and it just carries on down, then fine, you haven't lost anything. And we can look for a trade as price moves down. But yeah, have a little look at that, see what you think. As with any of these videos, you know, we are just giving you our opinion on what we think could happen, but you do need to have a little look and see, yeah, I agree with that, or no, I'm not too sure with that. But whatever you do, you know, if you do take a trade that we potentially say, have a look at this, then please make sure you use appropriate risk management, okay? If you're new, you know, I wouldn't be risking any more than 1% per trade. If you're more experienced, you know, maximum 2% per trade, okay? So make sure you know how to do that. But yeah, that looks interesting, purely based on this weekly range that's in play. NASDAQ, NASDAQ's actually broken yesterday's low, so I think we could be seeing a correction. This is a chart I've been talking about for a while, based really it started with this weekly bullish engulfing candle, you know, and from there I'm expecting this to make all-time highs, or to break all-time highs. So this was the all-time high, I'm expecting that to be broken. So we've hit a level here when we're seeing an evening star pattern, so we could see some downside on this, a correction. So anyone wanting to get long on this, you know, keep your eyes open. Visually, just looking at ranges, looking at the pure price action. What am I seeing here? There's a little bit of a level here, look guys, support. So that's a very, very shallow retracement. I want to go any lower than that. So if price breaks even lower, then, you know, potentially looking this tip of the week here, support. And obviously if we go any lower than that, then that would be quite a deep retracement. And the way it's going, to be honest with you, just looking at these lows here, the way it's going, it's been a very, very sharp move. You know, the month actually has been a very, very sharp move. So this is, you know, for me, an impulse move at the moment. So the actual retracements might be shallow. What you could also use is moving averages. So if I just put moving averages on, and let's just have a look at the daily. I really am a big fan of moving averages to kind of give you an idea of if a retracement has been, if prices retrace to a level where, you know, you could be interested in trading again in line with the impulse. So what I'm saying is that at this moment in time on this chart, I've got a 20 moving average and an 8 moving average. Okay, so you saw me draw those levels in without the moving averages on. But look, there was the first level, is where that 8 moving average is on the daily. You saw me draw that second level, and that's where the 20 moving average is. So, you know, 8 moving average for me would be the first kind of point of call where I'd start to look to be interested for buyers to come in again on this particular chart. Okay, we're in an uptrend. You can see that now. Here the sellers were in charge. We've started to see buyers. Very small corrections here. This daily correction. Here we're seeing a bit more of a correction take place because we've had 2 bearish candles. But I'd like to see, you know, at least this 8 moving average tested and this level tested, which is round about 1481.5. If we break through that ATM8, then we've got the 20 moving average here. On a general basis, I do love to see 20 moving averages tested, but that's mainly on smaller time frames. You can see it happened here actually. Down move, pulled back into that 20, and then went. But then you can see it just tested the 8 there, and it kind of was very impulsive. Here, it tested the 8 just about and moved. Here, it didn't even test that 20. So it just depends on how impulsive the move is. Here it did test the 20, as you can see. Watch around this 8 moving average on the daily, or you can have a look at this level, because like I say, if I just take those moving averages off, it is a little bit of a nice level where we've seen support. So keep your eyes on this. Maybe set an alert. We could start to bounce. What you're looking for is price to come into this level, or the 8 moving average on the daily, and then you're going down into the smaller time frames. You'll be going down into the hourly, for instance, and then you're looking for higher highs, higher lows to start, giving you the indication that buyers have come back into the market. Alternatively, if I just go back to the daily and the moving averages, alternatively, if you just want to trade the daily time frames, then you can look for a morning star pattern. Okay, morning star pattern would look like something like this, and if I just find one, yeah, like this. 1, 2, 3. That's not the best one. This one, 1, 2, 3. That would be a good one. Those sellers have left the market. Those sellers are in the market, and then you see buyers come in the market. Okay, it's basically a 3-candle reversal stick. So sellers turning into buyers. If we can see those sellers here turning into buyers, then that could be a nice buy setup for you. Otherwise, you know, the next daily close above this level should indicate that we've started the next impulse. Like we did here, look, we closed above that level, closed above that level, we saw further upside, So a daily close above this level would also indicate a buying opportunity for me. I hope all that makes sense with my croaky voice. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there for now. So NZDCAD looking nice, potential sell opportunity for end of day traders. Looking at today's daily candle, CAD Swiss, you know, have a little look about that sell limit, see if you like it. NASDAQ, looks like we're getting a correction now. So, you know, some people are only buyers of indices. If you are, then you're just going to let this play out and you're going to look for buy opportunities. Yeah, and that's it really. We've got, I spoke about silver. I'll talk about it now. I did speak about silver in the last video. Since that video, I sent out a buy limit to our members at 24.60. We got the idea that I spoke about was originally to look for a buy from 24. Just take a look at the last video that I did, and you can see price came into 24. some of our members missed that, so I had a little look at the chart and said, okay, a buy limit at 24.6 could be a good idea. Just looking at this little zone where price had moved up and back into the zone. So we actually took that, or they took that, and they are in profit at the moment, which is great. We've actually moved the stock to break even, so it's risk free. So I am looking for this price to break out of this triangular correction into 28.5 or 29, that direction, into these highs. So watch that breakout. If you're not in this already, look for the breakout, look for a little correction, and then look for a buy setup. Right guys, so that's it from me. I'm gonna have a drink, something for my throat, maybe a throat sweet as well, and I will speak to you again really soon. So don't forget non-farm payroll tomorrow, and if I don't speak to you again, I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye.